Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Man Bites Film. My name is Lewis. I rant on about movies and talk shit and basically do our little podcast and YouTube reviews of fandoms and movies, and that's pretty much me.
I'm William Phoenix. I am one of his co-hosts. He was gracious enough to take me on. I am of House of Phoenix cosplay, both on Instagram and on Facebook. And there's a big smile on my face because I'm still riding a wave of highness from 3 days of celebration of Harry Potter over at Universal Studios. This year again brought back Jacob Kowalski from Fantastic Beasts. And, as my friends put it, it was a hit.
Yeah,
there were some amazing cosplays this year, like from like a lot of people, and apparently, me and some of my friends, we did Fantastic Beasts. We had like different, I have different friends with different sets. Did a whole bunch of photo shoots with some amazing cosplayers, from Seraphima to Anna Faith, Alice and Tabitha, Charm Hawthorne. You name it, and if they're into Harry Potter and cosplay, they were there, and we had a lot of fun. And I literally just got off the phone with my friend Brandy, who is at WizardCon in St. Louis right now, and she told me that she walked up to Dan Fogler, and for those that don't know, he's the one that actually plays Jacob in Fantastic Beasts, and showed him a picture, a collage of pictures that I sent her. And the moment he looked at it, he's like, "Oh yeah, this guy." He's like, "I've seen him." Like, apparently people have been walking up to him, showing him pictures from the different shoots that I did. So I was like, Dan Fogler knows who I am. This was on top of Friday. Being at Universal, this guy comes up to me and he's like, "I see your Jacob and he looks amazing. I know Dan. Can I send him a picture?" And it took me a second to click. And I'm like, "Okay, sure." So he takes a selfie with me, turns it around, and brings up Fogler's personal number and texts him the picture with me and him, and I was like, that kicked off the celebration for me. So from there,
that's amazing, dude.
So
yeah,
it's been an interesting week. It's been an amazing week. It's one of those, like, I wish that it would happen more than once a year, but coming up we have different cons coming. We have Sci-Fi Barto coming up. We have a MegaCon coming. Hopefully, knock on wood, I'll be making my way to Dragon Con this year.
Yep.
And then, back to the celebration next year and anything in between. So if you see me smiling, that's where I'm still coming from, all the thoughts and whatnot. But I'm here. We're focused. We're going to be reviewing 2 movies as always. And why don't you start us off, and what are you reviewing?
Well, first, before I go into the review, for the people that are first tuning into us, we review movies that are on Netflix, Amazon, any of the streaming networks that are major streaming networks. And we try to give you non-spoiler reviews that give you a comparison to basically mainstream films that everybody has seen, so you have a point of reference to see if you would actually enjoy this particular film. So going right off that, the first one that I want to go into is Before I Wake. This is a Mike Flanagan film. If you don't know who Mike Flanagan is, you better get on that, because Oculus, Hush, Ouija, awesome films. He did the script for Gerald's Game that just came out, which was phenomenal. This man is the next big thing in horror movies. Like, he is the next best director of horror. He is phenomenal. From Oculus, that keeps you on the edge of your seat, Hush, that keeps you on the edge of your seat too, and this one as well. It stars a kid that is orphaned, an 8-year-old boy actually, and he's fostered by 2 parents, that Kate Bosworth and Thomas Jane, and he has special abilities. Whenever he falls asleep, he is able to bring his dreams to life. All right.
Okay.
So imagine
that could be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. So there's these 2 parents that they just lost their child, and that's the reason they want to adopt a child. And by losing their child, they still have the memory of him, they still have the pictures, they still have everything still surrounding, and the mom hasn't gotten over the loss. So the child picks up on this because he's very intuitive, and he very much understands what's going on, and he gets it that his mom is hurt. So he brings little butterflies first because he's obsessed with butterflies. So as soon as he falls asleep for the first time in the house, he manifests butterflies around the house. And the parents are all like, wow, this is so cool, so intrigued by it, and then it suddenly disappears as soon as the child wakes up. And this is how it's revealed that he brings his dreams to life. And holy crap, there is an amazing figure that is brought to the forefront called the Canker Man. And this is going to be the new Freddy Krueger. This is awesome.
I didn't see that one coming.
Don't want to go into the film because you can spoil so much of so many different reveals. But from moment one of this film to the last second of this film, there is a constant barrage of images. And it's not a horror film in the sense of gore, of just sheer like, it's not like that. It's not a monster film. It's a psychological thriller. And this is the epitome of a psychological thriller. Imagine, Nightmare on Elm Street without the gore. That's what this is.
Okay.
It's depending more heavy on the actual psychological aspect. There's one or two jump scares on there, and those are the only thing I have beef with in the whole film. But other than those one or two jump scares, they're a little out of place in this film. And you can tell that the studio made him put him in there.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, it works with the story, but it was kind of like, I don't want that.
Not necessary.
I don't want that, So I give this film a 10 out of 10. And this is definitely going to be on my top 10 of this year. That's how good it is. I'm putting it up there on my top 10.
We'll remember this in December when we come back. Call him out on it if he forgets about this. They're like, there was one back in January. What was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But, cool.
So yeah, Before I Wake, and it's on Netflix streaming. And if you haven't seen anything of Mike Flanagan, Oculus and Hush are both streaming on Netflix as well. And I think Ouija is as well. So
yeah, I liked Oculus. I wasn't a big fan of Ouija.
Yeah.
And then again, I'm not a big fan of Ouija boards personally, but I definitely was. I definitely liked Oculus. That was a good movie.
It's more of that, but with a child actor. And I know that you have a weird thing with demented children and stuff like that. It's not like that at all.
Okay, thank God.
It's not.
So like the moment I hear one of those like sing-song kid voices in the background, I'm like,
no,
click,
no,
we're done.
No, this is different. And oh my God, he uses it to his advantage in the film. The fact that he is able to manifest these things. Because he's self-aware that he is able to manifest these things. And the reveal at the end of where all this came to be, so good. So good. And they closed it up, so there will not be a sequel, which I'm happy about.
Hollywood can always make a sequel.
I don't think they could pull this one off. But I like the Flanagan. He keeps his stories grounded, and they wrap around nice and neat enough so they can't do anything with it.
Okay.
But yeah, Before I Wake, definitely a 10 out of 10, and it's a must watch. So what was the movie you liked?
Well, to go off of your 10 out of 10, this seems to be the week for it. I ended up watching Icarus, which is a documentary.
Yes.
Came out last year. It's a little over 2 hours. It's 2 hours and a minute. It's actually nominated for an Academy Award for these upcoming awards, and I'm really hoping that it wins because it is by far one of the best documentaries I've seen in a very, very long time. It doesn't have any actors because obviously it's a documentary, so it's it's amateurly made. But Brian Fogel is one of the people in it. He's obviously one of the director as well. And Nikita Kamaev is the other main protagonist, and he's a doctor. Now, basically, Brian is an amateur cyclist, and he's trying to improve his time, and he's trying to figure out a way to basically take substances that make him better without testing positive.
Yeah.
And he approaches this doctor, which tries to help him out, but then refers him to Nikita. Come to find out, Nikita is a Russian doctor who was involved in the whole government-run I can't think of the word. Steroid.
Yeah.
Thank you. With the whole government-run steroid thing, that Russia, the entire country of Russia, it gave their athletes to compete in sports, and in the forefront of all this is the Olympics.
Yeah.
Mostly the winter ones, but also the summer ones. But they're focusing on the winter ones. So basically, he goes from being an amateur, just filming himself, trying to get better at cycling, to uncovering this whole ordeal that is happening. And it's not even like a conspiracy theory. There are documents. Yeah. There's links. There's everything that really it brought down an entire country, and to the point where, if those that are not aware, Russia is now they almost got banned from the Rio Olympics, but they are officially banned from the upcoming Winter Olympics. Nobody can compete under the Russian Federation flag. Yeah. They have to, in order to do that, in order to compete, if you're from Russia, you have to prove that you never tested positive, that you were tested by non-Russian commissioned testing agencies, a whole ordeal. And even if they do pass you, you have to compete under no flag, under no country. You're no man's land.
Yeah. And
it all, not all stems, but this is where it started. This is where it all got uncovered, to the point where Dr. Nikita is actually still in hiding right now in the United States. He left his family over there because by his own words, if he goes back to Russia, he's not gonna live.
Yeah, and the U.S. actually got him under witness protection program as soon as he came over, because they're like, he's going under wraps.
So I went into it thinking it was going to be like a fun little documentary about
doping
more on the not Louis Armstrong. Oh my God.
What was
Ron
that?
Lewis.
What was that?
Check out the podcast on why he's ribbing me right now. Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong. Yes. What a wonderful world. I thought it was going to be more on the whole Lance Armstrong ordeal, where he won the 7 Tour de France, find out that he was doping, the whole thing, but it got to be a lot bigger. And 2 hours, it does feel like it is a little, the 2 hours, but not you
don't lose interest in it.
You don't lose. You don't lose interest, because every 5 minutes something else pops up, or when the Olympic Committee had come out with this whole new, we have a way to test athletes that's foolproof.
Oh, I love that section where you actually see the
find
plans.
A way to break the foolproof plan and still do it. If you're into those if you're into documentaries, if you're into sports documentaries, you need to watch this movie.
Even if you're not,
but I mean to really catch your interest, to really be like, oh my God, watch this movie, because this is literally one of those accidental finds that it's like me and you starting a little show, and then all of a sudden we just uncovered this whole big thing. It's what are the odds? What are the chances?
Yeah.
And it's not a movie. It's not it's a Hollywood movie to where they've made movies like that where the anti-hero finds out all this stuff going on. This is real life. This is happening right now.
Yeah.
So I hope it wins the Academy Award.
I think it will. It has the highest chances, according to the betting pool and all that stuff. It has the highest chance. I think.
I give it a 10 out of 10 because there's really nothing wrong about this movie. It's just the 2 hours are needed to really go into detail about everything, to really not skip any detail, any steps. But if you have a chance, watch it. Let me know what you think. Leave us a comment, and I would love to really get into talks about this, because one thing that really and you get so taken into it, when there's
start
shots,
researching it and start looking into it.
Even when there's there's the shots of the Russian athletes at the Sochi Olympics, which miraculously they won 33 medals at.
Yeah, miraculously.
They all of a sudden you see them on the podium, standing, smiling thing, knowing in the back of their heads that on the one platform to where it's supposed to be equals, that it's supposed to be, almost innocence, because you're competing, but still it's amateur level and whatnot. These people cheated. allegedly. But
Yeah.
these people cheated, and they're there standing going, I won, but you wonder how many in the back of their head going, did I really win? Did they even feel bad about it? And it's
Well, a lot of them, I mean, which is really cool about the documentary is that they say that the government actually conspired to do this, to make them dope and make them become better athletes, to be able to win those 33 medals and say, ha.
It makes you wonder back in the 70s and 80s when
Yeah.
Team Russia hockey was winning left and right.
Oh, but it's not only
Was
the
it
Russians.
the regiment or was it? I mean,
It's not only the Russians. I mean, the Russians got caught.
the entire country of Russia got caught. I mean,
I
obviously
mean,
there
but-
have been very much, even in the U.S., people that
you
have
gotta look
come
at every
forward or
country,
people
I
that
mean-
have gotten caught, and doping has always been an issue in sports. But talking just on the Olympic level, yes, I mean, we're not innocent either. The United States
Yeah,
not
I mean,
innocent. I'm pretty sure
not
that
every
if you
country.
dig deep enough,
Yeah.
there's countries there which are not innocent as well. But to
If the Russians could do it,
bust
we could do it.
open an entire country,
Yeah.
not just a few athletes,
Yeah.
not just like
That's
like a team,
impressive, man.
an entire country. It's like, wow, dude. Like, the next time you want to go, can you imagine if you had decided never to do that?
Yeah.
None of this could have happened. None of this could have potentially come out.
But you see, that's the power of documentaries. And I've come to what do you call it, like documentaries more and more because of this show. And honestly, I love documentaries now because there are such interesting things that you can find. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I'll open up a whole can of worms for you to watch if you want to go into documentaries. And it was until the last 2 years I didn't know anything about these things. And they're so interesting. And now is the time. This is the pinnacle. This is the golden era of what do you call it, documentaries. The documentaries that are out there now and that have come out recently because of Netflix, because of Amazon, there are so many of them. And such great quality ones too.
Watch it. It's because it's not even just a conspiracy. It's not. This is just facts. It's the stuff that's coming out, and it's still coming out. And will they lift a ban? Will there be a permanent ban on Russia for games to come?
Anyways, my name is Lewis. I
Will.
reviewed
Sorry.
Before I Wake, and
I'm Will. I reviewed Icarus.
this is Man Bites Film. We'll see you guys next week for another episode.